that guy might be a little bit more trepidatious to get into some bullshit that maybe could be avoided with a hug and a handshake,
Absolutely,
or on the adverse, you get a guy who's like, fucking war, heads.
Right. Yeah,
I
fucking miss war. I need more war. What's up, airheads? How you doing? Welcome back once again to a stirring rendition of PuttinOnAirs. We're here in the virtual Airstream studios. I'm Trae. That's Joe. This is a little bit of an impromptu edition, actually, because we got stuff going on in our lives. My in-laws have been here for a week. They just left. I forgot I was going to be on the road. Couldn't record. I told Joe, hey, I got to record right now. We got to figure something out. And he was like, well, my phone's dead, and I'm 2 cities away because I live in the middle of nowhere, and we ain't got phones here. You got to have phones shipped in where he lives. So he had to drive 4 hours round trip to get his phone fixed. And then all that happened, and now here we are coming to you. So we're a little frazzled, but feeling good, right, Joe? What's up?
Yes.
Where'd you have to go?
Atlanta? Alpharetta? Basically
Okay.
Atlanta. Dude, let me tell you something. And, this ain't got nothing to do with the show, but I care about you, and I care about our fans, and I care about us as a society. I don't like how it made me feel when, let's see, hold on. Let me rephrase this. I don't like the version of me that I became when my phone wasn't working. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, dude, I live in fear of it. And it makes me ashamed too. I woke up the other night, you know how Apple will try to update your phone in the middle of the night?
Yeah.
If possible. Well, it was doing that, but I didn't know. I didn't know it was doing that. And I woke up to pee, and it happened to be in the middle of that process. So it was like shut down because it was updating, but I didn't know that. And I went to check the time, and it wouldn't come on. And then I couldn't get it to come on. And at 3 in the morning at home, there's an Apple store down the road or whatever for me. In my head, it was like blind panic. I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do without my phone? I can't. And dude, if I was on the road and that happened,
my God,
I don't know what I would do. It's like I've lost the ability to how am I going to get anywhere? That's my map.
I know,
that's
dude.
My wallet. That's my boarding passes. That's
everything.
That's everything that I have. It's
it
scary.
Hits so hard that it is. You know what I mean?
Convenience hits, but if it goes down, what are you going to do?
Well, dude, like the thing is like I go, oh, we could all go one day without our cell phones, but it immediately threw everything into disarray because again, I had to drive 2 hours just for them to get it fixed. Then it took them a long time to get it fixed while I was there. As soon as my phone turned on, because this happened in the middle of the night and I didn't know it. As soon as my phone turned on, I got the notification. I missed a chiropractic appointment this morning that I had set an alarm for, but didn't know. So there's that. But
according to Kim Cusado, you're better off anyway. So
yeah, right, exactly.
Saved your back not going. Although you did tell me, you being a small town and stuff in a generally small community, I was talking shit about chiropractor and all that. And your chiropractor is almost certainly going to hear this, right? Or hear about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We weren't talking shit about them.
No offense to you personally, but I remain dubious. But you're winning show.
I think all we did was talk about how there was, some dubiosity to it. I never shit on them, and hell, I kept going back. Obviously, I was having a good time. But yeah, dude, not having the phone, obviously it would suck for anybody, but I feel like, especially me and you, I was telling this to Amber, and she was like, well, we'll just get it later. I was like, Amber, I can't, me money on phone, me the money get on the phone, can't make money, no phone. You know what I mean? But yes, dude, because of that, last night was our anniversary. Right. Last night was me and Amber's anniversary. So we went out. We went to a fancy dinner where, by the way, Trae, I had prime rib egg rolls. And let me tell you, top 5 appetizers I've ever had in my entire life. They were right there with those. You remember those croquettes we had?
I knew you were going to bring that up. They were ox cheek croquettes. As soon as you said prime rib egg rolls, I was like, he's going to bring them croquettes up. Because they did hit. Yeah. Shout out
they were
to
very similar.
It was a little country manner. It was something. Was it literally Fox and the Hound?
I think it was
the Hound and the Goose, or it was something like that.
It was something like that. It was one of those things. But no. When I took my first bite, I was like, oh, this is a feeling I haven't had since. You know what I mean? And it was. I was thinking immediately of those croquettes. But anyways, because of that, Amber got a little tore up last night, as she should. She's retired, and it was our 6th anniversary. And so this morning I have to tell her, I'm like, baby, I hate to do this to you, but I'm going to need you and Bane to get in the car because we're going to Alpharetta. And she's like, why do you need me? And I was like, I can't get there without, I
exactly.
can't. Like,
that's what I said. I was just thinking about it being on the road. If I woke up in a hotel room and my phone was completely dead, stone dead, and I couldn't get to do nothing, I was like, I would have to like ask the front desk person, where is there an Apple store or an AT&T or whatever? Give me physical directions. I have to write them down. I then have to like follow this rudimentary map to my, and if I get lost, I got to stop at a gas station and ask them and all that old timey papaw shit that we don't have to do no more. And it's like, you know,
I could have done that. I have the capacity to do that, but we had this goddamn recording today, which I was still late to. I was like, I got to fucking get out of here. Anyways, man, technology, a blessing and a curse. You know, it's something else, buddy.
It is. So I wanted to ask you a question because I've been having some real un-American thoughts lately. Well, only just one real particular type
like what? That Ted Williams couldn't hit in today's major leagues?
No, like a fundamentally un-American thought. And I'm going to be honest, this is mostly inspired by the heavy metal music I've been listening to lately.
Sabaton?
Yeah, and Sabaton and also
Amon Amarth.
Yes.
Yeah, they'll make you be like, man, war is rad, but like we oughtn't have done that one.
So it ain't war, it's royalty, I guess. What I've been thinking lately is like, I think that, and I feel like maybe this has been said before by people who are smart.
Monarchy hits.
Well, they say, you know, like there's that saying, it's like democracy don't hit, but it is the least not hitting type. That ain't the actual quote. The quote is much smarter, but it's something like,
it's the best type of all the shitty ways you can organize government.
Exactly. It's the best type of government is inherently shitty. It's the best shitty thing we got, right?
Yeah.
So it's been acknowledged, but I was thinking recently, like, I think that if I could snap my fingers and make anything happen, like, I think the hittingest system to live under might be that of a good and benevolent king. Yeah. Like, the problem with kings, of course, is that you cannot guarantee that they're good and benevolent, and oftentimes they're incompetent and bloodthirsty and ruthless and all that, and that super don't hit. Right. Now you're living under my man Gurbanguly Berdi Muhammadov, right?
And Gurbanguly Berdi Muhammadov is not one he don't hit.
Right. So that's the problem with the system, and I get that. Even if you have a good and benevolent king like Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, he gonna have a dipshit son like Commodus or whatever who fucks everything up. Like history has proven that time and time again. So I'm not advocating for a return to monarchy. I just think that, like, if I could, like I said, if I could had a genie in a bottle, make any way, or snap my fingers and make it be any which way, I think that living under a king that actually hits might be the best of all outcomes. Because I said it was heavy metal music. It's also me thinking lately, like, I just really wish a whole bunch of people didn't have no input into how things work in this country. I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way about me, but I'm saying I would, if it was a competent, good, benevolent, caring king, I would give up my input. That would be okay with me. Right. But like just living in this country, especially lately, it's like if no one even had the delusions of thinking that their opinions matter about what happens or does not happen, if things were just the way that they are, and there's nothing else anyone can say about it, as long as the way that things are hit for me, like people were taken care of, the poor people were and all that, and there was no like racism or war and no poverty and all that. So just a utopia.
Oh, basically. So I was about to say, so what you're suggesting is if I could snap my fingers and make the world the best place ever, I think I'd do it.
But what I mean is,
bold stance.
I believe, and we don't do politics on the show, but I believe that there are ways available to us to make some of those things happen. But half of my countrymen believe the opposite. Right. So I'm saying the idea that, like, if I just had a king who agreed with me, who would like do the things that I'd like to see done, and no one could say shit about it,
that would hit so
hard.
I
think it would end up working out best for everyone. I think we'd live in a much better country if we had a hitting king. And like I said, that's fundamentally un-American. But what do you think about that? Then I want to tell you about the metal songs in a minute.
Well, because I definitely want to stay here for a minute because I have some like follow-up questions, because I'm not against it, because you putting it like that, like it would give us a lot less to argue about, because it's like, what are you going to do?
There's no point in arguing.
Yeah, there's no point in fucking arguing.
It's what it is. And I said king the whole time because, let's be honest, like historically, it's almost always been a king, but it could be a queen too. That's fine.
Yeah, for sure. Back on democracy, this was an Indian man I heard say this, but I'm not going to do the voice.
I was going to also bring this up, and I was like, should I do it? Joe is quoting a man directly, and this is exactly. I'm so glad you thought of this, because this is exactly what I'm saying. Because I had the same thought. Yes, this is a direct quote. He's from
an Indian man, and I mean like one of them hardcore Indian men, like
shaman-y looking. He looked like a yogi, like he knows the old ways.
And I'm sure that's racist, but like if there were Hasidic Indians, he's one of them. You know what I mean?
He just looked old and wizened.
Yeah,
he's like wizardly, which every race of people has those wizardly motherfuckers. Well, he was an Indian,
even rednecks
looking some bitch.
Yeah. I believe the quote he said was, and again, not doing the accent because there's more people than Trae here. Democracy is of the
government,
people, of people, for the people, and by the people. But the problem is that people are
exactly
right.
People are R-worded,
and he's
not. And with the accent, it hits much harder. Just so y'all know.
So much harder. I wish I could do it.
But it's a very famous. That clip has gone viral multiple different times. So a lot of y'all have probably seen it. But yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's like, of course, I think I know what's best, so I should have input. And people I disagree with, I think they shouldn't, and they think the opposite. I get that.
Well, dude,
but I do believe that, and I think that would hit. Like you said, if people had no delusions of thinking they had any right to change anything with what they think, you know what I mean, and things that plus things being good would, I think that's the the ideal situation.
But yeah, both sides though, again, believe not think no that not think no. Both sides know that they are right.
Yeah.
And like, again, not to get political, I just think this is interesting. I was talking with a buddy of mine yesterday. I won't say who he is just because I don't, whatever. He's a comedian and he is a Republican. But we were talking about this joint project because we are both very passionate about helping people with their mental health, right? And he was like, well, I'd hope that would work for you since we kind of come from both sides of the aisle. And I made the joke. I said, well, buddy, I said, on our side, we just feel that if everybody had access to mental health and got their brains right, they just would be liberal. And he goes, dude, we think the same shit.
Of course.
It's like we both, not only do we disagree with each other, both sides fervently believe that the other is mentally ill. So if we had a fucking king where it's like we could have these thoughts all we wanted, but it would be pointless. It don't matter, though. It would be pointless to address them.
So why waste time arguing with each other about them? Because there's nothing either of us can do anyway. It's up to the king and his regents or whatever. So we don't even need to talk about it. Like it would hit. I think.
I agree that it would hit. Now, like right now, when I'm thinking of like a benevolent king or whatever, and let me get there because I know exactly what you're going to say when I say this because it's true. It's like that would definitely be what like King Charles is that.
Yeah, but he don't have power.
Okay, right, exactly. Like, he don't have power. However, when we were over in England, we definitely seen some dipshits at spoons. Don't get me wrong. But there did seem to be, and we wrote this in our book, Round Here and Over Yonder. You can get it wherever you get your books and on Audible. We did notice that there was not near as much nationalism unless it was like in a soccer game related situation. You know what I'm saying? And like, I know that the king doesn't actually have power, but like they've got parliament and a prime minister. And like, again, I think it's fine to get political if it ain't our politics because we just don't know shit about it. Like, they've had like fucking, I could be wrong, but like they've had like fucking 9 prime ministers in the last 2 presidents we've had, and they've got like multiple parties. I know they've got like the 2 main ones, but but their third parties actually, again, I could be wrong, but like they have a shot. You know what I mean? Like they actually have a shot. It can't just be the Tories and the
Labor, I think.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I think
so like, again, and it's very un-American to think this because, the most American thing is the last time we gave a fuck what any of them thought was 1776. And I know that England has their problems, right? I know that England has their problems, but it seems like when they do have their problems, they get that prime minister the fuck out pretty quick.
Here's the thing though. about
They never
that.
get to build and establish anything.
Think about all the prime ministers they've had in the past. And like you said, we're talking about English politics now. We're both dumb about them. I don't understand how it all works either exact, but I do know that like
they wear wigs. They
don't
talk funny.
elect prime ministers over there. What they do is they like elect
A
the
party?
party that's going to be in power. And then the party that has power,
They say
get
who
to
it's gonna be.
choose a prime minister. So they've had a bunch of prime ministers in a row. You're right, including like Liz Truss, who literally was outlasted by a head of cabbage, famously or whatever. And
That's right.
yeah, a guy made a British dude made a meme. Will Liz Truss last longer than this head of cabbage? And she was out of office before the cabbage wilted or whatever. Like,
That's
literally.
crazy as shit, dude.
What's also crazy about it is like fun future like bar trivia fact is she was the last prime minister that Queen Elizabeth met. Like she's going to be mostly forgotten or would otherwise be forgotten by history because she barely had the job at all.
Yeah.
But
she's
she
got
was
that.
She was the last one. Yeah, right. Even though she was only there for a blink, she was there for a very important blink.
That is an important blink.
Anyway, yeah, they've had a bunch of different prime ministers, but they've all been Tories for the past however many years because the Tories have been in power. So it's like, in that,
it's like, what does it matter?
You don't have. I mean, you don't have. I don't know. Over here, you can vote for president, and in some states, your vote don't matter. Everybody knows that because the electoral college. Again, all these systems. They're all fucked up in some way.
Yeah, we need a benevolent king.
But in Great Britain, yeah, it's like, you know, whatever party's in power, they ain't really. And also, they don't have elections on a regular timetable. They like call for them or something.
Yeah. They just like feel like having an election. They're
and it's like
anyone want a cuppa?
The Tories are their conservatives, and they've been in power for like 16 straight years or something like that. And I've been seeing all these Brits on Reddit and internet and stuff saying that their days are numbered, that's going to change sometime in the next few months. But how
many years has it been?
I think it's been like 15 or 16 years.
That's crazy.
Maybe like 12-ish, but I mean, it's been a long time.
Because in America, we're, again, not to be political, but in America, we're usually only used to at most 8 years.
Because it swings back and forth.
Because it's always, like if you look, it hasn't literally happened every time, but for the most part, if one party has 8 years in office, then the next time there's an election, it's going to be the other party just because of, I guess there's just a sense of we need some type of change where the pendulum's going to swing this way or whatever. But like with, I don't know. Like, and I know that there's a lot of our listeners who are like pretty mad at us right now for even insinuating that a monarch would be a good system. And by the way,
but I'm saying, think about it, man.
I know, dude. And
I feel like any person, if you, whatever side of the aisle you're on, I feel like if you could tell that person, you could snap your fingers right now and have an all-powerful king that believes or that agrees with you.
Yeah.
I think pretty much anybody would probably do it. Cause it's like, and so.
But that's a bad thing about people is like, we're actually for totalitarianism.
Well, that's been proven time and time again.
Yeah,
and that's nothing too. We're talking earlier about how like, we feel exactly the opposite and they feel just as strongly as we do. And all that is true, but that's like I'm glad you brought that up because I meant to point that out too. Much has been made in American politics in recent years about like, really this proves this being recent trends and the popularity of certain candidates. This proves that deep down people want to be ruled. Deep down people want authoritarianism or whatever. And I always I would see that and I would agree with it and I would be like, that's a goddamn shame.
Right.
But I've been thinking recently,
get a better king.
I only think about the king that they want.
Right.
And I think that would be a goddamn shame. But when I think about the king that I would like,
Schwarzenegger,
it would hit for me too. You know what I mean? Like I get that. Like I'm not going to lie and act like it wouldn't. It would hit for me because it would just take them out of the equation.
I hear you,
which
man.
I would appreciate. But kings die, and like I said, their kids don't hit. They get usurped. Imagine if we had like a king situation, and it was a good and benevolent king who cared about the people, and the country was thriving. And then he got fucking usurped.
Yeah, dude. It'd
by
be a
some
John Wilkes
ruthless,
Booth.
Ruthless, bloodthirsty, bigoted, tyrannical asshole. Now that guy's the king, and we can't do nothing about that either. So I'm not advocating for monarchy. I'm just saying a perfect version of monarchy. Like I get why it would hit for people.
Of course. And we've talked about this a little bit. I think it was on one of our episodes from the UK, or it might have just been written in the book. But we do have some new listeners, so I will rehash it. But like before, I'm still not like hurrah, hurrah, the monarchy. However, after having a conversation with a couple of blokes in Stratford upon Avon, which is Shakespeare's hometown. They did change my perspective on it a little bit when they were talking about how they were like, I was like, man, just all the opulence and all the blah, blah, blah. And they were like, yeah, dude. But like, when you look at the net positive of what they bring in, like just in terms of tourism and just in terms of whatever, he's like, I mean, I'm not saying anybody deserves that much money, but like they do earn it, and it's not like it fucks us over or whatever. And it made me start thinking about it a little bit differently. And again, though, the English is a completely different situation because they are completely a figurehead. And I suppose at this point, like their literal only role is to raise money for the UK. You know what I mean? Is to be there and raise money for the UK, and then for Parliament to take that money, I suppose, and dole out to whatever bus services and the tube and shit like that. But like, I don't know, man. I liked it over there. It hit,
Yeah.
And I mean, 3.5 weeks is not long enough to get a grip on the political atmosphere of some place. But I will say that the feelings of fervor were lower. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure. I think we've got at least some UK listeners. You guys can chime in with an airmail or something. I'm sure they would say that living over there. I'm sure they would be like, oh no, we got plenty of them too.
Yeah. I know they do. I'm just, By the way, you can email us at PuttinOnAirs@gmail.com if you are a new listener to this show, PuttinOnAirs@gmail.com. Write us in with a story. We also like limericks, and please, corrections. When we say something stupid, we want to hear it, and we will read it because we make no bones about it. How do you describe this show, Trae?
Fancy stuff described by idiots.
There you go. That's who we are, and by God, that's what we do.
Idiots. And we look, sound off. We read it. We lost a listener last week. I knew that we probably would.
Sure did.
Because I told that story. And it's like,
you told a story about a 5-year-old you.
Right. And it's like, the whole point of me telling the story was me realizing now as an adult
that it's fucked up.
That it was fucked up. That's the whole point of the story. But the story, if you didn't listen to last week's episode, the story includes me as a 5-year-old child unwittingly laughing at a dog in distress, right? Because I did not realize as a little kid that it was in distress.
Right.
And again, the whole point of that is like, holy shit, looking back, that's so fucking wild. Or, you know, it's funny because it's fucked up, but people
don't get nuance
about this right now, dude. People, the moment you bring up dog, anything bad happens to a dog, and it's like you said, you're like, well, that dog be dead for 15 years now, regardless of what
and
happened.
Also, you were 5.
It was 30 years ago. Like, and the dog didn't die. It's not like we saw that the dog, I'm sure, ended up being fine, but people just, whatever. People got their trigger warnings and whatnot, and that's one of them. But sometimes people do. That's a Rubicon. They will not cross that with you, and that happened. We got told. She's done. She's done. True. She's out. So
it is true that I think
y'all there sticking around.
It is true that it is like dog's a really heavy one, but there is a lot of people that like if you start talking about a subject that they're sensitive to,
their one thing.
If you start talking about their one thing, even if you don't say anything bad, as soon as you bring it up, their brain fills in all this shit, and they're like, "I'm not listening because you were talking about this," and it's like, wait, did you not hear the part right after that where we said that it was bad?
And
nope, I clicked out. I clicked out.
Dude, especially with our accents and shit and our whole thing. Like I feel like we run into that all the time. There are people, who do not like. I just met a guy actually recently, another comic, and he was saying it's like, this was dumb of me, I'm crazy, whatever. But like he basically was saying like, even though I knew your whole thing, I still wasn't really sure. Just because of how he feels about like redneck. He's not a white guy and he's from the North and everything. And it's like, he just thinks of white rednecks. He was like, you walk in here with your cowboy boots on and everything, and you talk like you talk. It's like, and I didn't know. I was like, ugh. He's like, even though I know what your deal is, I still thought that way. So, I mean, but it came around, but people do, like you said, you hit a certain button and some people are just like, that's it. I'm done. It's like, no, think about the context and the nuance. Listen to the rest of what was said, but they won't do it.
I guess I have to assume for my sanity that like it was a third. I just want to believe it was a third strike situation. Maybe you know what I mean? Because like I can't.
That person did not strike me as the type of person who allots 3 strikes.
Yeah, right,
frankly.
right. But like, because
Seemed
there's
like a very first strike situation to me.
dude, there's like, let's say if it's radio hosts or podcast hosts or television people that have been entertaining me for years, and not a blemish on their record from where I'm sitting. And then every now and then they will say something that I'm like, maybe not that, but I'm like, I'm gonna throw away the thousands of hours that I love them and go, well, you did one, fuck you. Like, what are you talking about here? Like one bad thing. And now like you've said so many good things. I'll give you credit. Do you not, can we not get credit for some shit?
Yeah. Well, I mean, your phone's last act before it killed itself was, hosting a Twitter tirade of yours, right, about how Mel Gibson had some hits back in the day.
That is true. I ended up deleting it just because it wasn't worth it. No,
yeah. Well, this particular climate, what are you going to do? But it's one of those things. Like, yeah, like that whole separate the art from the artist thing, or what, all that whole deal. It's like, and we've said, you went on a whole thing on this show about Kid Rock a few episodes back, and I agree with that too. It's like, I hear you. I'm not defending any.
Don't buy his new shit. But
I'm not defending any of that stuff at all. But to act like.
Right.
They never hit it all. But with Kid Rock, though, I will say, like, the way I always couch it is like, look,
his new stuff ain't
Tennessee trailer trash, and I grew up in the late 90s and early 2000s. I'm not going to apologize for liking Kid Rock. Like, I was the target. Everybody like me I ever knew liked Kid Rock. He tapped into something. It's funny because he was fraudulent and it was bullshit and all that, but we didn't know. We loved it. I've had a sketch idea for years about, like, me trying to pretend I'm an upper crust suburbanite to get a job on Wall Street. Right. And they're interrogating me to prove that I'm actually, in fact, white trash. And I passed the interrogation until the very last test they have is they push play from the very beginning of Ba With Da Ba.
And you can't. Right?
And I'm like, I'm playing it off at first, but then it gets to, my name is Kid. And when it's Kid Rock, I just flip the table over and my sleeves just vanish, and I've got tattoos and shit. I'm just fucking rocking and everything because
that's hilarious.
That song hits for me very hard still to this day. I've said, like, dude, I was a massive Joe Rogan fan for such a long time, and it
took more than
you said. Some of the things, some of the stuff that he said, even now today, I'm kind of like, I've seen plenty of clips and having plenty of opinions of his that I'm like, well, that ain't it for me. But like, he still kind of hits Ranch and Dave Chappelle too. Same thing, because I did, especially Chappelle, dude, being a comedy nerd, and he's like,
he meant too much to us.
Exactly. Like Chappelle's got that bit about this with Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
He's like, he made
Thriller. Yeah.
He made Thriller.
And for me, he made Chappelle Show.
Chappelle Show. Exactly. I feel the exact same way about Chappelle, and I always will. Like, I don't know what to.
But like, let me
tie
this.
The same as defending the shit they're saying.
No, of course not. Let's tie this back into this fucking show. I bet you Michelangelo beat the shit out of some of them 12-year-old boys he was fucking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's been a history of depravity in the arts or whatever. And I'm not like, my point is that I'm not suggesting if someone's art is so good, they should be allowed to do whatever they want. What I'm saying is it's insane that these people that we're talking about, they live in some type of fantasy world where in order to make something truly great, you also have to be a good person. But you know what I mean? Because they'll be like, oh, I never liked Mel Gibson to begin with. It's like, shut the fuck up. You love Braveheart.
See, you're right. My whole thing with that is like, it is completely okay to admit that you loved Braveheart or Apocalypto or like that,
and that he don't hit anymore.
That doesn't mean anything about you as a person today and what your opinions are. It's like, it's completely, right. But some people they just won't. And like, again, on the other side, and we're
Steve Jobs was a piece of shit.
Politics today, but
this isn't right.
It kind of is though, because I was going to say, but the other side, they do the same thing in reverse, or conversely. When like American conservatives try to act like they genuinely think Kevin Sorbo is one of the hittingest actors of our time, or Lee Greenwood or Ted Nugent, and those dudes are all like talented, but they act like these guys are the pinnacle.
Well, see,
I mean, it's like that is equally insane and stupid. It's like, no, they're not.
Sorbo,
and you know they're not, right? Like, stop bullshitting.
Sorbo was actually the thing that tipped me off. It's because I saw somebody mention these old hack actors, like, and then they listed, it was like someone shitting on the Sorbo type, and they were like these old wannabe actors like Kevin Sorbo, John Voight, and Mel Gibson. I was like, you fucking don't. What are you talking about? I was like, if we're having a piece of shit contest, those three people can be in there together. But dude, let me tell you something right now. Again, I don't think he's a good person. John Voight is one of the greatest actors of our time. He is fucking awesome.
James Woods too. James Woods is great. He's great. But like Scott Baio, no. Kirk Cameron, no. But the one, and see, that's what I'm saying. Just be honest, be real, about it. Right? Keep it real. Yes, the ones that hit, don't act like they don't hit just because they as people don't hit for you.
Right?
And it's like,
they need to do it. We need to do it. Like that's all I'm saying is like I don't know, man. Like it just, to me, you're not being a hero by saying I never found Bill Cosby to be funny. You're just not.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Y'all, let me ask you a question. What's the first thing you do if you had an extra hour in your day? How hard would that hit? Go for a run, take a nap, read a book, just do an extra hour of the nothing that hits for you to do? That's also a valid response there. A lot of us spend much of our lives wishing that we had more time. It seems often that there's not enough time in the day. I've been feeling like that this past week. My in-laws were visiting, but I still had work to do, and I was trying to be a good host and, do family stuff while keeping up with my, work commitments and whatnot. And I fell behind. I'm not going to lie. There was many times where I was like, I need more hours, right? But if time was unlimited, how would you actually use it? You can make time for something that really means something to you. The best way to squeeze that special thing into your schedule is to know what's important to you and know how to make it a priority. Therapy can help with that. Therapy can help you find what matters to you so you can find ways to do more of it. Joe, tell them more.
Man, I tell you, I've mentioned this a lot, but the difference between my life before therapy and after therapy is like the most stark difference between two things that I at least personally know. And it helping me manage my workload, it helping me compartmentalize things. It has given me some of my time back, just because I know how to use it more wisely with some of the tools. Now, the thing is, I suffer from depression and anxiety, and I also benefit from some of the medicine, but there's plenty of people who just talking to a person will help them. And the thing with BetterHelp that's awesome is that if you get on there and you don't connect with your therapist, you can go to another one and it's not going to cost you any more. I was very lucky. I got with someone who was from a similar town, had a similar accent, was a dude. I'm not saying dudes make better therapists, but I do think that talking to someone like you is very important. And I was lucky enough to have that. And the fact that it's all done online, that was the biggest selling point for me because, and maybe it's part of my depression and anxiety, but I like sticking around the house a little bit. But it has changed my life for the better. A huge change. If you're thinking about starting therapy, please give BetterHelp a try. Like I said, it's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. All you got to do is fill out a brief questionnaire and get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch anytime for no additional charge. Find your social sweet spot with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/POA today and get 10% off your first month. That's better, HELP.com/POA. Take care of your brain, y'all.
Sky's out, thighs out. Mm-hmm. Fellers, that's right. Summer is here, and our friends at Chubbies are bringing the good vibrations. We're talking about showing the little leg, gentlemen. Why not? I'm going to tell you something. I come from a time and a place, rural Tennessee, early 2000s, when a man's shorts were damn near capris. You know what I mean? You had to have it. You had to have them past your knees at least, or you were some kind of something or another. You know what I mean? That's just how. That's just how shorts used to be, and I never thought twice about it. It's how I was raised. Looking back now, it seems silly. Well, I had a very revealing moment, though, quite literally. See, I've been biking, been Pelotoning for a long time now, and then like last year, me and Cho and our buddy Drew did a stand-up show in drag. First time doing it in drag. I wore my wife's skirt.
Yep.
And I got so many compliments from people on my legs. Turns out, never knew. Who knew? Not me. I got nice legs. How about that? Thank you, bicycles. But ever since I found that out, I've been like, man, I need to stop wearing these like baggy old man
Go
shorts.
George Washington,
depriving the world of these stems, which apparently do hit. What am I going to do about that? Enter Chubbies. Chubbies is a lifestyle apparel brand that makes every moment feel like a vacation. They say fashion is an expression of one's character. Why not let the world know you're down for a good time? All right. Chubbies got all kinds of stuff. They got high quality men's apparel. They got super stretchy shorts with various insane lengths. You can show as much leg as you want to. They got swim trunks. They got pants, polos, button down shirts. Whenever you need to hit up your favorite brunch spot, Cho knows all about that. Embrace the spirit of endless summer with Chubbies, the ultimate destination for bold, vibrant, and outrageously comfortable clothing. For a limited time, Chubbies is giving our listeners 20% off your order with our exclusive code. Use the code POA at chubbiesshorts.com. Cho, tell them more.
Well, bro, as soon as we saw Chubbies on the dock that this was going to be my absolute jam. I mean, this brand and me is it Simpatico? Simpatico. Yeah, dude. Like, I love the outrageous, vibrant looking things. But me, dude, I've been a short wearing SOB for a long time. And so I personally went for the 5.5 inch because that's where, buddy, it's like a half inch away from being a problem, but that half inch makes it good. You know what I'm saying? I got a nice olive green pair. And like, this is the type of shorts that I've been wearing for a long time, which is like shorts that both look good, but are very comfortable. They have an elastic band. But what I like about these Chubbies the most is that they also have belt loops, right? So that when I am going somewhere that it has to be a little bit nicer and I might have to tuck in my shirt, I can actually throw a belt on with it. A lot of companies don't do that, right? And it's got that classic khaki look, right? It doesn't look all shiny like you're trying to doll up a pair of athletic shorts. These are the real deal. They look classy, but they're as comfortable as anything. Experience the unmatched comfort and style with Chubbies' iconic original stretch shorts. Depending on how much thigh you're looking to show, Chubbies makes them in I didn't see they was in 4 too. I got the 5.5. Boy, I tell you what, Trae, you know how big my little things are. I don't know about them 4s now. I don't know if they'd be able to hold them. 7-inch seams. Yeah. These shorts have stretchiest fabric for ultimate movability and flexibility while maintaining perfectly tailored fit, feature an elastic waistband, so important for people like me. All right. Whether you're getting dressed up for your workday, a workout, or a weekend getaway, Chubbies has you covered for a limited time. Chubbies is giving our viewers, as Trae said, 20% off your order with our code POA at chubbiesshorts.com. That's code POA at chubbiesshorts.com. Support our show and tell them we sent you. Don't blend in with the crowd. Stand out with Chubbies. And it's 2 Chubbies telling you, so you better. You know what I mean? Know. We chubby.
We is.
Oh, god damn. But anyways, like Da Vinci, all these motherfuckers assholes.
I toyed with a bit about that for a while, and I'm sure plenty of comics have done a version of that bit, but I just didn't. I liked that whole thing, but I didn't want to feel like I was doing a whole cancel culture thing. You know what I mean? It's they cancel Michelangelo or whatever. So I didn't fuck with it. But the idea of hold it like anyone from the past who's noteworthy at all.
Yeah.
Almost universally, you can find something that by today's standards, you're like, whoo, god damn.
But dude,
And it's just the way it is. So it's like, we just got to deal with that.
But there was plenty of them that
I don't know what else to say.
No, I hear you. But like, even not making it the cancel culture thing, dude, there were some of them Renaissance dudes that even for their time were pieces of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't have to be like, oh, well, yeah, if you think about it, sometimes it happens a lot, actually. Bad people are really good at making stuff because creativity doesn't only enter the filled with joy sunshine motherfuckers,
well, it's kind of like how there's a lot of actual evidence out there that a disproportionate number of CEOs are literal sociopaths.
Yeah.
It's like, and also like some of the best athletes of all time clearly got a screw loose. It's because you almost kind of have to.
You have to.
And like, I think very, very, very high level entertainment, show business shit or whatever is the same type of thing. It's
Agreed.
just like, I'm not saying you can do it, like Tom Hanks. Look at him. But like,
right. Well, some people would agree.
I know a lot
with you.
right. Then yes, a lot of
bad
people,
example, maybe.
I ain't ever gonna show up for that. That
No.
motherfucker is America's sweetheart.
Yes, he is.
I don't care what nobody says, but yeah, it's a whole thing. But I wanted to say, because I said earlier I was going to say it, and I don't want, if there's any metalheads listening, like I wanted to hear the metal songs. So the 2 metal songs about kings, they got me thinking this. Yeah, like I've always said, I'm not really a genre guy in music. I have artists I'm a fan of across every genre. Like
I feel the same way.
In every genre you can name, there's people that do it that hit for me, and there's people that do it that don't hit for me. And so in metal and heavy metal, my 2 favorite bands, hands down, far and away, are Sabaton and Amon Amarth. Sabaton, they do like historical metal.
Both Swedish death metal, correct?
I think Amon Amarth might be. They're definitely up. They're definitely
Yeah, they're all hurta.
Yeah, but Sabaton is for sure Swedish. Yes, they are. They're both Swedish. Good job. Good
Off to
pull.
Neverland.
Yeah, right. So, Sabaton does like historical metal. Their songs are all based on like actual battles from history and shit.
Videos hit too.
And then Amon Amarth, they do Viking metal. It's like songs about Odin's Raven and fucking the Guardians.
Very
of Asgard.
cinematic.
Yeah, and I love them both so much. Well, they both have a song about like a king, a dead king specifically, that the songs really hit for me. And that's what got me thinking like there's this song by Amon Amarth called 1,000 Burning Arrows.
Yeah, I've heard that one.
It's about, how the Vikings, they did that thing where they put the dead king on a boat and then shoot a flaming arrow into it and the boat burns into the water. It's a song about that. And it's like, it's just
remember Edmund Tully's bitch ass couldn't shoot the fight.
Fucked it up the whole time, right?
Yeah.
Until the Blackfish stepped up and made it rain.
One shot.
Yeah. And this song is just so metal and rad and evocative and cinematic and shit that it just makes kings hit for me. Like there's the lyrics in this song. It says, our king has left our ranks. And of course, this dude is, our king has left our ranks. Our king has left our ranks, a wise and noble man. We owe him loyalty and thanks. He ruled with a steady hand. He will be missed by all. His heart has now been stilled. Tonight he dines in Odin's hall, and there he'll drink his fill.
Goddamn right, dude.
And then a big ass guitar solo cranks up, and it just goes so hard. And it's I was thinking, it's like, man, it made me. I was almost mourning the death of this king, who I don't even know if it's a real person or whatever. But it made me feel that shit. I was like, dude, the death of a good king, that's some heavy shit.
Yeah, it is
because
some heavy
kings
shit.
are so important. If you're lucky enough to have a good king, and then a good king dies, that's brutal for a nation and a people. It just makes me feel shit.
And let's please stay on this on kings and the thing about kings back then in those days is they would go to battle. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, we talked about that on our earlier episode. Yeah, they would them and their sons and everything. They
nobles, would fight. And with that, I'm sorry,
there.
but I give it to you, dude. I fucking give it to you. Now, George Washington wasn't president when he did that shit. That's what made him president. But there was a time on the earth that it was it's expected that if you were a leader, you were also well, goddamn it, I'm gonna get me some of this fucking conquest too. You know what I'm saying? In that way, when I'm sitting on that throne, I can feel like I've earned it. And that is why they were so beloved, is because they were out there with the people. And in America, it was a little bit different, but there was a long run of in order to be a president, it would be nice if you had served in the military. We really liked that. And frankly, look, I'm not suggesting that we ever be that's a requirement. You're required to do that. But there is a part of me that's having a guy that's making all these
money where his mouth is.
Exactly. Having a guy who's making all these decisions, who has sat there and watched his best friend die and who knows the real consequences. That guy might be a little bit more trepidatious to get into some bullshit that maybe could be avoided with a hug and a handshake,
Absolutely,
or on the adverse. you get a guy who's like, fucking war heads.
Right. Yeah,
I love war.
I fucking miss war. I need more war.
Right. But
That
you know what I'm
does
saying?
also happen. You're right. It's wild. There's
like I really, like, again, not to get political, but like I always, and like, dude, of course he's done some fucked up shit, but like I always really respected a John McCain type. You know what I mean? Like John McCain, say what you will. Sure, we disagreed on a couple of things, but like, God damn it, I believed that motherfucker. I felt like he was trying to do the right thing, not the pad my pockets thing. And the son of a bitch was a goddamn POW. All right.
Yeah.
So if he does something,
he had what's the
bona fides.
integrity.
And and dude, if you've
we
been
ain't got that no more. And politics.
and like, to me, it's like if you've been a POW for a long time, you get at least 10 more fuck ups on your fuck up card. You know what I mean? You have built in some credit with me for when you vote against some bill that doesn't really make sense to a lot of people. But like, and when you hear these songs like by Amon Amarth, and it was all about these kings, and like, obviously you have to take everything with a grain of salt because history is written by the victors. You know what I'm saying? But you only, because like, hell, carving on stone was hard. You only hear about the greatest fucking kings and the worst fucking kings. You never hear about the fucking like President Buchanan of kings. You know what I'm saying? Which I'm sure a lot of them mostly were.
Right. Just kept the wagon trains running on time, whatever the case may be at that point in time. Yeah, no, you're right. But that's how kings be. The other song I'm kind of dealing with something right now. I'm not going to lie. Cause the other song, the one by Sabaton, is called Long Live.
You okay?
Well, I'll explain it.
Okay.
It's called Long Live the King.
Yeah.
By
Song
Sabaton.
hits.
It's also about a king's funeral. A real Swedish king from Swedish history called Carolus Rex.
Carolus Rex?
Yeah.
That is a Transformers ass name if I ever heard
one. Rex meant king in Latin, right?
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Or it meant the equivalent of king in Latin. That's actually why Tyrannosaurus Rex is called Tyrannosaurus Rex, is because Rex meant king in Latin, I think. Let me look it up real quick. It's something like that. Please do.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Rex means king. So his name was Carolus.
How do I not know that?
Or second or whatever. And it's just any king was blank Rex. You'd be Cho Rex.
Cho Rex.
But anyway, it's a song about his funeral, his death, and his funeral. And it has this line in it. And I'm going to read what the actual line is now. I just now learned that I have been wrong about this line the whole time I've been listening to that song.
Surely not.
Sometimes that happens, right?
Not you.
But this is fucking with me. I'm not going to lie, because the actual line, and the song still goes so hard, but the actual line is, for their honor, for their glory, for the men who fought and bled, a soldier from Sweden remembers the dead, right? And it's talking about the dead king. The whole time I've been fucking with that song for 2 years plus or whatever, those lyrics, what I thought they were, I was always like, man, that is the first thing that has ever made me feel kind of positive about the divine right of kings or just that type of thing. Because what I always thought until just now that the lyric was I thought it said, for the honor, for the glory, for the man that fortune bred.
Oh, wow.
A soldier from Sweden remembers the debt, right? And it's like, that's what I thought that it said. And I was like, the idea, like, I just always thought the man that fortune bred was a really rad way of describing, the divine right of a king. Who actually hit. Yeah. But anyway, it turns out that ain't even the lyric. They ought to change it. I need to write them a letter. They ought to change it. But either way, the song overall is pretty kick ass.
Man, it's wild, man. Words and shit,
They do be.
Like, because like, again, song still hits for you, but like it's meant something entirely different because you misheard pretty much two words. Right. You know what I mean? Change the whole fucking meaning. Like, that's just how important that shit is. But yeah, that's where monarchies and kings kind of lose me a little bit, is that whole divine right thing.
Yeah, well, I don't fuck with the Lord.
That ain't it. That ain't it. But I'm saying, like, in our scenario, let's say, we snap our fingers. Like, it's easy for us to say we snap our fingers, but what happens after the finger snap? Like, how does our king come into rule? Do we have to, are we going to have to go through the whole dismantling of the United States government as it is, and us watch that systematically fall apart before this can happen?
No, because we're talking about a magical
genie.
genie wish situation. So no, because that would, I mean, that'd ruin the whole thing. If you had to actually go through that process, and who knows, we just might. But if you had to go through that process, that would that ain't gonna hit no matter where your destination is. That journey that you just described, is always gonna not hit.
And you know what fucking sucks, man, is that like, when you're reading about history, anytime you're reading about a country, when that country really got, had it going on, it was right after they had done some of that shit. You know what I mean? It was like right after they'd done some of that shit. Now, normally, maybe not completely within, although realistically it was. I mean, like, I've thought about this a lot of times. Like, we call it something a civil war when it's a war amongst a nation. Like, the Revolutionary War was also a civil war. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like we weren't.
I mean, that's interesting because it's a rebellion.
We was them,
right? It's a rebellion, isn't it? Like, that's a rebellion. A rebellion that ends up working as a revolution,
right?
Right. So why is civil war a different thing? I mean, if civil war was also a rebellion, the South rebelled.
If the South had won, would it be the Revolutionary War Part 2?
It'd probably be the Confederate Revolution. Is probably what
that's exactly what it would have been called.
Right. So,
but
why is it? Yeah, I never thought about that before.
I didn't until like the other day when I was re-listening to an episode of fucking Putting on Airs, and we were and you were on one of my favorite tirades ever. I got to remember what episode it is so I can make a clip. You were talking about how you were like, not to get political, but you were like, I'm not trying to hear about how goddamn racist we are from the fucking colonials, motherfucker. We weren't even us yet. We were still y'all. Y'all was doing this and blah blah blah. And then we went into the whole thing of like America, colonizing all these places, and England walking into the bedroom and finding the pot underneath they were like, we learned it from you, Dad. And you were just fucking, and I was sitting, and like when I heard that, I was like, dude, the Revolutionary War was also by definition a civil war, because like we were fucking a colony of England.
Right,
we was England.
Maybe that's the thing that makes it different, though.
It's because we were a colony.
They had colonies, so it's like if the north part, if Manchester and Birmingham had a war against London and them, you know what I mean? It's like within the same country, not counting their colony. Maybe that would be. I don't know. I'm asking. Like if it's colonies, but that's not exactly the country. We weren't exactly England. We were England's possession.
Yeah, right? Okay.
Whereas in the Civil War, North and South, that was both America, like the United States of America, and then that broke apart and fought each other.
Yeah, but we
was colonies involved.
But we were dim.
We were dim.
We was dim. Like it would have been different if the goddamn Native Americans had have started an uprising and took over Britain. But like we was like their king was our king. So like that country, like even though it was far away, it's like Alaska is still America. I just considered that America was still England. They just goes like these were our fucking.
But see, part of the whole thing with the American Revolution, obviously, it was, taxation without representation. It was that like we were their subjects, and that really did mean something. Like we flew their flag and we had their king and all that, but we were not them really, because we didn't have rights and shit.
And
again, in the Civil War,
we didn't have the resources.
White people didn't have rights, and that was part of the whole thing. But like all of those states were part of the same United States, part of the same government. They had, ostensibly all the same capabilities and rights and whatever, however you want to put it. They were literally the same thing, as opposed to like if the North had owned the South or vice versa, then would it have been a civil war? I don't know.
Right. It's wild, man. Like there's a lot of wild shit to think about, especially pertaining to the Civil War. Cause I was hearing this dude, this like actually progressive guy talk about, and he's from the South, and somebody had asked him like, if you were alive back then, like you lived in the South, but who would you have fought for? And he's like, well, obviously with hindsight and now knowing everything I know, and assuming that I had the ability to leave and choose,
Mhm.
I would fight for the Union. He goes, but if you want me to be
Right.
pragmatic and tell you the honest answer, I would have fought for the South. And they're
Right.
like, how could you have done that? And he goes, because most likely I wouldn't have known. He's like, I don't come from a fucking rich family. I wouldn't have known what it was
Of
about.
course.
All I would have known, and I think Shelby Foote says this in the Civil War documentary by Ken Burns. He goes, to so many. By the way, we are not about to do some lost cause bullshit. We're not. But he goes, to a lot of people, it all came down to, they go, why did you fight the Yankees? And they go, because they came down here.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
They don't hit. Don't like the way they talk. Don't like their face ways looking at me. Piss me off. Thinks you better than me. Looking down in my nose, their nose at me.
They were in my yard. What did you want me to do? But like,
people are so amenable, or however you want to put it, to like
everyone knew everything
and the lies of whatever people say. You know what I mean? Like, so I've never looked. Yeah, we're really on one now. But I'm sorry, and yes, it's probably because I'm from the South Side. Ancestors wearing the gray or whatever. But I've always thought, like,
I've
got living good friends today who fought in like the war in Iraq, which was not a just war. But
of course
I don't. They were not fighting for.
They didn't know why.
Raytheon's bottom or Halliburton's bottom line or whatever. Like, they thought they were doing the right thing. They were wrong, but they didn't know. Their heart was in the right place. And I'm sure there were plenty Confederate soldiers who were like, "No, we need to keep these down."
Absolutely, plenty.
But
and it was wrong. But there was
not necessarily, because I've thought the same thing. It's like my sons are and they were born in Knoxville. But my sons are the first Crowder men since like literally the 1600s to not grow up in the American South. Literally. And so, like, had I been born back then instead of now, of course, I'd like to think I wouldn't have fought for the Confederacy, but I don't know.
You wouldn't have known.
Well, have. I wouldn't have. Yeah.
Well, think about
known any better. I told this story before. I think
there's people who don't know what's going on right now, and we live in the age of information.
So many people just don't. I don't know. You said context, nuance, all that shit, thinking critically. So many people just don't do it. So many people just hear that question. They're like, well, the answer is the North.
Right.
I don't care about anything else. The correct answer is the North. And it's like,
because know now. Because
it is, but that's not practical or realistic. If we're trying to be as honest as possible about this situation, that's not necessarily what the answer would have been, And it's like, this reminds me of a story I think I told on Well Read before, but it pisses me off every time I think about it. These other little fuckers, the kids in my son's class, like Benton was in like second or third grade, something like that, maybe even first or second. And the teacher read them some book, and it was some kid's book about like, it's like forest animals, right?
Yeah.
But all the animals in the rabbit community or whatever, they were racist against like the squirrel community. You get what it's doing. It's a thing, but it's using animals as stand-ins for people. And it's like the rabbit community, they were racist and treated the squirrels terribly for no reason or whatever, except for squirrels are natural born pieces of shit and deserve to be treated that way. But in the kids' book, not the case.
Right.
And squirrels just don't hear from me in real life. But it was, some setup like that. And teacher read the story. And then asked the question, like asked my son specifically. It's like, now if you were a rabbit, would you treat the squirrels that way?
Yeah.
Right. And Benton goes, probably, and all the other like little 6 and 7 year olds or whatever, like, what? You know what I mean? Like they like got upset at him. They're like, how could you say something like that? And that breaks my heart. He started crying. He got upset about it. He was
being ambushed.
He was saying, he was like, well, I mean, I'm just saying, if I grew up like that, and that's what my parents taught me, and that's how everybody else around me was, like, I wouldn't know any better. Like, I would have no way of not being that way. If that's
also, I'd be a rabbit.
Right. Yeah. It's like, I just wouldn't, how would I know to not do that if I grew up that way? And everybody was just like, oh, that's terrible. You can't, whatever. And again, he was crying. It upset him. And he told me that story. And I want to go down there and just whip everybody's ass, because it's like,
and prove him right.
He had actual empathy. You know what I mean? Like he actually put himself in that position and was like, well, let's be real about this. Like, I know that you're not supposed to be racist against squirrels. I understand that, but that ain't the question. The question is, if I was one of those rabbits in that community, how would I feel about squirrels? And the truth is, probably not great. because they're indoctrinated and whatever else, but like kids, they just don't be thinking about shit that way. It's like just implying that you would be racist in the context of a kid's story. Like that's the end of it. And that's what a lot of people are that way. Like there's lines you cross and then people are done. It don't matter what the rest of the context is. If you say or do a certain thing or imply a certain thing,
that's it.
Their decision is made. Like the book is written on you and they know what they think about it and the rest of it can fuck off. And that it do be frustrating.
Yeah, well, last thing on that, and then I want to talk more about the Revolutionary War if we can. Or I got another thing, is that it always goes around. It's like, racism is not born, it's taught. And it's like, I agree with that. Like, the babies aren't racist. But once you grow up, but when you grow up in a certain place, I won't say where that place is. It could be anywhere. It's going to take you work to not be that. Mm-hmm. Because especially if you grow up in a pre-internet time.
Oh God!
Like, I'll go ahead and say it. There's a lot of work that you still have to do because you're like, dude, you know how many times I'll go, oh shit, that was just what they always said. God damn, fuck, I didn't even think about that. You know what I mean? But like it takes a lot of work. But anyways, with the kind of bringing it back to this show, because I do believe that the Revolutionary War, while war itself isn't fancy, anytime you're doing it in pantyhose and red jackets, it kind of is. And
wasn't that kind of you're right. War really, it's always brutal and muddy and bloody and all that. But like they tried to make war fancy, didn't they? Because
they did.
They tried to make everything fancy. It's like war was gentlemanly. Or whatever.
Yeah, and
then famously Mel Gibson stepped up and said, "No, fuck that.
We ain't gonna do that.
Some other tactics. All right, war is dirty. Let's get down in the mud and the swamps. Let's do some guerrilla warfare." And it turned the tide and single-handedly won the war. I based that on the documentary The Patriot from 1999.
Well, but it is true though, like because like we realized like we had to have that like moment like in the movie 300 where it's like, hey, how does a small group of people take down a large group of people? It's like, well, if we could bottleneck their asses, then like that could actually work.
By the way, quick side note, Sabaton has a song about that battle called Sparta. And
it hits.
Goes hard, bro.
Yeah.
So y'all check that out.
Yeah,
anyway,
everybody. I keep forgetting that we're doing a podcast. I'm like, yeah, Trae, you've sent me that 1,000,000 times. But yes, it does go hard. But like, yeah, man, because like back then, like war. And like some of this still kind of stayed during the Civil War a lot with the Union, but the Confederates, and it's really the only reason the Confederates even had a shot, because like when you think about it, it's like it was the U.S. government versus 13 states that said, fuck, we're not the U.S. government anymore. Like, as that Norm Macdonald
13 agrarian states too,
right?
Meaning like most of the country's industry and manufacturing and shit was located in the North.
Yeah,
that's something too.
And they had to start an army. They didn't already have one.
That whole that's a good point. But that whole like straight up defending the
No. I'm just trying to say it's crazy that it was close. That's all I'm saying.
But that's something too. It's always I've gotten defensive and apologistic about when it comes to the whole thing. It's like, if the geography of this country was flip-flopped, like the topography or whatever the right word is, if the best land, if the open and best land
slaves would have been in the north,
shit was in the north, and it was rockier and more confined in the south, and that was better suited to urban, whatever, just not huge plantations, it would have been the exact opposite. It was literally just a turn of chance that it worked out the way that it did. And then it did. And, fuck all them motherfuckers. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying.
Let me fuck you up with some goddamn truth real quick. So I, read a lot about the Civil War and like I'm obsessed with Abraham Lincoln and all that stuff. And I can't fucking remember what the dude's name was, but he was one of the biggest abolitionists that there was. Like he was so against slavery, right? And so you would think like, oh, this is a great guy who believes that black people are equal and shouldn't be. In an interview, he stated that his main reason for being such an abolitionist is because that would stop them from coming up here. Like that was literally was like they escape and come up here because we're free states. But if we just abolished it, they would say, I swear, that. Dude, I swear to God, dude. So you want to talk about fucking nuance with a goddamn word here?
That's a good point. That's so fun. I mean, it's fucked up, but it's also funny.
He's an abolitionist. He's a good guy.
one of the most fervent. That's a great. I'm glad you told me that. I want you to find that guy's name.
Yeah, I
like
will.
That.
But that was his point.
One of
was
the
like
most fervent abolitionist of that time. If you just hear that, you're like, this guy was a hero before his time or whatnot. Then you find out why, and you're like, oh god damn. That's It's like almost. Well, I'm not gonna say it's worse, but it's like he don't even want to be around them.
It's definitely not worse, but it's not bad. I don't know. But that was the feeling of a lot of them. Like a lot of people up north was like, y'all shouldn't be doing that, but they should definitely stay in South Carolina. You know what I mean? We were talking about the Revolutionary War, and they before those Mel Gibson type militias and guerrilla warfare sort of set up, the rules of engagement, which is still a real thing that we're constantly adding to because of technology and stuff like that. There literally are rules of engagement. Now, granted, they just break them all the fucking time. And it's like whatever,
It's one of those. It's kind of a history written by the victors thing, where it's like it really only matters if you end up losing and you can actually be held accountable by some.
But if you win,
the Nuremberg trials or the Geneva Convention or whatever. But if you don't get to that point, the rules of engagement, right? I mean, Russia be breaking the rules of engagement.
Barack Obama broke the fucking rules of engagement all the goddamn time. Yeah. Sorry for talking over you, but just to make sure everybody knows I'm biased when it comes to people fucking around on the rules of engagement. Even presidents who have hit for me have fucking broken them. It's just that we ended up on the good side of that.
It's like America. We front we go about things the right way, but if we decide not to, if the CIA especially decides to just overthrow some democratically elected communist or whatever, just an example, who's going to do something to us?
Nothing.
What are the repercussions going to be? Nobody. And we know that.
Right.
So we can harp on about the rules of engagement and the right way to be and shit all we want. But at the end of the day, militarily, we're going to do whatever the fuck we want to do, generally speaking.
America,
and nobody can hold us accountable for that. They don't have the capacity to do so. So
America is very much like a loud lady at a bar. You know what I mean? That where it's like she knows she can talk shit because
she ain't gonna get hit. Well, and if somebody
does, everybody will jump in and be like, "Motherfucker, don't do it."
It's like yes, but it's like if that loud lady at the bar was prime Mike Tyson.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. Because it's
true.
Yes, you're right. The confidence of knowing nobody's gonna do shit about this. America definitely has that. But the reason they have that is because we got the bust football anybody's ass that wants to,
with impunity.
Yeah, right.
But they did their wars were super chess like. You know what I mean? It's we stand here, we move, and then America, or what was the colonies then were like, dude, we can't beat them like that because that's a numbers game. When you go in a row like that, when you stand in a row and everybody takes turns shooting, there's less of us. Eventually, they will shoot all of us. So we're going to have to get redneck on their goddamn ass. You know what I mean?
And we did, and they were like, that's not fair.
Yeah, right.
It's not fair. It's not proper.
Oh, no, it's not a proper war.
Yeah.
You're being tossers. Right, but we won, and we fucking... There's no reason for us to win that war. But then also, it's like, there's no reason for the fucking Civil War to be close, and it was... And it was because some dirty goddamn rednecks were like, I know, I'll just be up in that tree. I'll see y'all later,
Yeah, also, I remember being taught in school, because I went to school in the South. I remember being taught that also we had the South, the
knowing the land.
That, and also I've heard that, I always remember being taught that the Confederacy had a major, leadership advantage, or they had more, I don't mean at the very top levels. I just mean in terms of number of generals who hit or whatever.
No, it's true.
We had a bunch of strategically adept. I keep saying we.
Dude. When the war started
and stuff.
Listen, when the war could have been over in 6 months if George McClellan wasn't a huge pussy.
Right.
That's just true. That's not me having an opinion. That's just really any military historian, which is of course where I heard it from, is George McClellan really kind of acted like the Dems in 2016 and was just like, hell, we got this. And it's and Abraham Lincoln, but dude, this is what's so fucking crazy, is that McClellan's doing all this shit And Abraham Lincoln's like, attack, attack, attack. We got to do this. And he's like, nah, don't worry about it. Fucking McClellan was so bad that like Abraham Lincoln locked himself in a room for like 48 hours and studied every military book he could find, devised a plan, fired McClellan, got a new guy, and said, hey, I'm the president, do this shit. And it turned the tide.
Right.
Yeah, right. But
yeah, it's like he's listening, like, I'm not militarily versed. That's not my strong suit. This guy's a general. I don't know. But I kind of think he might be a dipshit. Like, I just don't hit at this. I need to go learn how to hit at this.
Yeah.
And then reassess. And then he did. And 48 hours later, he's like, God damn, this dude's a dipshit. And but yeah, what's the
reasoning behind
briefly? Because people may not know McClellan, what he fucked up in particular, right?
We had one. I could be getting this wrong, but it might have been like Vicksburg, and it was like basically McClellan wanted to play Mark Rick football.
Had us on our heels.
Yeah,
I just came up. Had the South on their heels, had the Confederacy on their heels, whatever, and he could have ended it right there, but he
could have ended it right there. All we had to do was be aggressive. But McClellan, and here's the thing that people don't understand: if you read more into it, like just on the surface, you might go, "Oh, McClellan's just a pussy," but what people don't understand is that this was calculated by McClellan and his people, because McClellan was trying to be president, and he knew that he would need the votes of all these people. And in his brain, he was like, I bet if I just hold off, they'll surrender, or we'll end this civilly or whatever. And then people from South Carolina might still vote for me because they see me as some sort of benevolent guy who had them by the throat and didn't do anything. Right. Well, how'd that go? Didn't. Right. So basically it was a situation of someone choosing self career advancement over country. And that's the reason, because by all means, McClellan was the right guy. I mean, like he was at West Point or Virginia Military. I think it was West Point. Like there was a reason he was in that spot. Like they didn't just pick a random guy. There's a reason he's in that fucking spot. And all of a sudden he's doing all this shit. And turns out it's because he wanted to be seen as some sort of moderate fucking hero that didn't want to piss everybody off. I
mean, the thing is, like, that's another thing. It's like, dude, try to actually imagine for a minute that we erupted into a legit, straight up new.
Have you seen Civil War?
Civil War right now? No, I haven't. I want to, because I know that my man Alex Garland wrote and directed it. Right, love him. So I'm definitely
he's great
to it. But no, I haven't seen it yet. But imagine we literally did erupt into a brand new civil war in this country right now. Like I kind of get the like. I don't know. I mean, they were all
the rationale of not let's not mow down America.
Right. Like the idea that like, no, we can beat them, but we can beat them without overly brutalizing them or what. It's like, we got brothers, cousins, whatever, uncles and shit on the other side. We were the same people 3 weeks ago and now we're not. And it's like, the thing is, it's like that whole like, well, yeah, but do you want to win though?
Right.
Because if you want to win, and General Sherman, say what you will, he understood that.
Buddy,
boot on their fucking throat. That was his
stone
philosophy.
Cold motherfucker.
I'm again, it's like we were saying earlier about, I don't know, just trying to actually put yourself in that position or empathy or whatever. I know he fucked it all up, and I'm not saying he didn't.
Well, I would agree.
And if it was only politically motivated, which is what you're saying, then that makes it different.
I was about to say,
if he was just like, these are our brothers, we need to figure this out with as little bloodshed as possible. Like, I kind of respect that. But if it was just him having, having his eyes on future political success, and that was what he was doing to do it, then fuck that.
I mean, I literally felt the exact same way. I was like, I kind of get it. The only difference is though, they are our brothers, but they are advancing very quickly on the Capitol and intend to kill all of us.
Right.
This all got started because Revolutionary War people wore pantyhose.
This episode is sponsored by BlueChew, our old buddies. Let's talk about sex, fellers. Guys, remember the days back in the day when you were always ready to get down in the bedroom? Oh, what a time that was. It passes us all by eventually. We all know the slow and cruel march of time, but it's okay. You can get those times back. You can increase your performance. You can get that extra confidence in the bedroom right back right now. Listen up, BlueChew BlueChew.com. BlueChew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or you can just be ready whenever an opportunity comes up. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. The best part, it's all done on the internet there, which means no more visits to the doctor's office, no more awkward wiener conversations, no waiting in line at the pharmacy, running into your high school librarian. Blue Chew tablets are made in the U.S. of A., prepared and shipped direct to your door in a very discreet package. Joe, hits for you.
Does hit for me. Matter of fact, the other day I made a list of worst conversations to have with someone you went to high school with. At the very top, wiener conversations, right? You don't have to have them with Blue Chew. A lot of people say, Corey, does it work? And I'm like, dude, it makes my dick harder than coming up with a new analogy to put here every single week. It's fantastic. I'll tell you what, man, not only that, like, it gives me, I get so excited just seeing the Blue Chew. If I accidentally see a blue sweet tart, it wiggles a little bit. You know what I mean? And the thing is that it doesn't mean that you have to have something serious going on down there. It's just like you want a little extra oomph. You want that confidence because first impressions are a big deal, and so are lasting impressions. All right. Blue Chew is going to give you the confidence to have the best sex you've ever had. Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. By the way, discover your options at BlueChew.com. Chew it and do it. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew for free when you use our promo code POA at checkout. All you got to do is pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code POA to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast and giving us a brand new wiener. Skew. I don't remember where we're at, but I got one last thing, Trae, that I wanted to talk about very briefly. Do you remember? You know this? You know this stuff?
No, that looks like generic brute. Is that generic brute?
So okay. No. This is Skin Bracer. It's its own brand.
That's not some dollar store shit.
No, this is by Menon, motherfucker. This is by
Menon.
It is
by Menon.
This is by Menon. So to me,
damn, okay, my bad. All right.
Because that's actually what I want to get into. Because to me, Brute was the trash version of this.
Damn, now, bro, you fucking me up right now. My whole life, I've had so many white trash epiphanies over the course of my life, and you've just delivered to me another one at the age of 38. You mean to tell me that Brute was the trash version this whole time?
No, I don't know. The reason I even bring this up is because it's insane to me. I'm bringing this up because of a question that I want to ask you that I want answers from. It's crazy to me that I thought this, considering the reason that I know what Skin Bracer is that my redneck ass barely have a pot to piss in. Grandmother used it as deodorant, right? And the only reason she did is because her husband Harvey used it as aftershave, and she couldn't afford it. She was like, well, I'll just use that under my arms or whatever, and it smells good. Well, for some reason, knowing they were poor though, this smell of aftershave, all that Brute and Skin Bracer and all of those particular aftershaves, they have that same musky scent, right? And for some reason,
to me, it's like it's Papaw scented because my whiskey bowl Papaw, he wore Brute my whole childhood.
But for some reason, when I was a kid, and maybe it's because I only smelled it on papaws who were at church, and when they were at church, they were wearing their Sunday best or whatever. But like, I always associated the smell of this with like sophistication and like class and dignity. And in real life, like, this is the trashiest shit you could be smelling like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
And So my question to you was this, like, what are some things that when you were a kid, you thought were like high dollar fancy shit, only to grow up and learn like, oh, I was just an idiot. What the fuck is that? Like, you remember that Viennetta ice cream?
Of course. That's a great example. That's a great example. A lot of people thought that was the height of luxury for sure. Right. There was that. Brute was one for me, kind of, now that you mention it. And, having married parents, that was for me as a kid. I was like, God damn, look at them really rolling in the high cotton over there with their parents that are still together.
Right.
Man. I mean, like, I don't know. This is a bad. The only reason I say this because I was thinking about it literally yesterday. This is a bad example because I know this car does hit. But
Right.
like when I was a kid, I thought that the Bentley, the McLaren, like the hittingest car that could ever be conceived of was the Dodge Viper. Which I feel like
me too. That was the red one.
I feel like in retrospect and everything. I mean, first of all, it's a Dodge. You know what I mean?
Right.
I know it's like Dodge's. It was Dodge's like premier offering. But
they even make them anymore?
No, I don't think they've made them in years. But it was just so 90s. Like, I agree. Like people like who am I trying? Like fucking Rothschilds or whatever. Like I doubt they were fucking with Dodge Viper,
dude.
You know what I mean? And
no,
like to me, I was like, that is the richest rich person car that has ever existed.
Couldn't agree
Dodge
more.
Viper.
For my 5th or 6th birthday, my dad took me to the Dodge dealership.
Yeah.
Just so I could sit in a Viper. We didn't like get to drive it or nothing, but like I just got to sit in it, and he got me a model car of a Viper, and I got to go because he knew that was my shit. I had the poster. The first time he realized I was into it is we would go down to the recycling center, right? And like they were just chock full of the AutoTrader magazines, and like AutoTrader magazines were the shit. That's the part.
You know, my papa had a car lot in the garage and all that. Dude, I was eat up with AutoTrader magazines.
Well, dude,
loved it.
That's like the scene that I most relate to in Joe Dirt is when Joe's just like walking around with the AutoTrader talking about all this shit he can't ever buy. We would do that shit all the time. Like we go, goddamn man, I'll tell you what, we get that and put that lift on it. Oh, son of a bitch. And anyways,
I've had another epiphany just now. Me and Katie have had like first trip me and Katie ever took together was to New Orleans, and she wanted to go to the Garden District just to window shop.
Yeah.
Right? We were 23, whatever at the time.
And you thought that was stupid, I bet.
So dumb. I was like, Katie, you ain't gonna buy nothing in these shops. Like, what are we doing? We could be eating etouffee and getting hammered. Like, what the fuck are we doing? But I did the exact same thing with AutoTrader magazine and all that, and all the what was that magazine that had all the like the aftermarket concept.
There was one
the same thing, but I don't think we had concept. It was shit.
So concept was badass because basically it was literally what that says. Like none of these things were real. They were all concept cars by these engineers that were supposed to be like the cars of the fucking future. And like, dude, it was wild. And it's also wild how in the 90s they predicted that they would be so much better than the fucking Cybertruck. But anyways,
dude, we went to the Dodgers game yesterday and we saw a Cybertruck, like a matte black Cybertruck. And I was like, hey boys, there's a Cybertruck. And Benton, who don't know anything about any of it at all, was like, that's ugly. Or he was like, that's because it is. It's like, it's because it's like, I feel like because kids will let you know. And I feel like that's a good, it's like it genuinely
it's not rad,
bad and dumb. Yeah.
Dude,
his immediate response was not like, ooh, that's cool. He was like, ugh.
Here's how I know the rednecks are full of shit on thinking it's cool. Dude, the Chevy Avalanche took some shit when it came out. The Honda Ridgeline took some shit when it came out. And this is just a boxy aluminum foil version of that shit. So I don't want to fucking hear it. But anyways, like my first ever Viper, I tore a Viper page out of the AutoTrader. Then Dad got me a poster, and then like got me a model car, and I got to sit in it. And I was like, if I could ever just have this, And now it's like, dude, like I said, if you drove by someone in a Rolls Royce and a Viper, they would fucking scoff at you.
Of course,
I had on my list another one was Grey Poupon.
Oh yeah, of course, everybody had that one. Yeah. Well, that was that. They marketed it. That's the effect, the efficacy of marketing. Yeah. Do you have any Grey Poupon? And we're the way we are in this country, we're like British fancy fucking Grey Poupon. That's what's up. Hey, by the way, I don't know. Like Grey Poupon hit for you?
I like it fine. Yeah,
I think it hits. Like,
I think it does hit.
Not because I think it's fancy. I just like Dijon mustard.
I like Dijon. I think as a Dijon mustard, it is good. Usually, though,
you can find harder hitting versions.
Yes. Like usually,
when it comes to Dijon, I like something that makes me hurt.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Exactly.
Hurts me a little
bit. Yeah. So when I'm choosing a mustard and I want it to be of the not yellow, which is good on a hot dog variety, I'm usually skipping past Grey Poupon and going straight to the whole grain, like almost horseradish mustard. Because I want like jaws to lock up. I want tears to come out of my eyes, and like whole grain mustard, dude. Hey, I tell you what, that might be on the list too, because although like it is kind of fancy, in a way, but like whenever I would see like a board of stuff and there'd be like whole grain mustard on it, I'd be like, woo, wait, like that's,
on the food front, another one I thought of, and I think I've mentioned this recently. It's come up, but I don't remember where in this universe it came up. But like, as a kid, I thought Red Lobster was the French Laundry, right?
Yeah.
Like literally, it's because me and Mark were talking about Red Lobster's going through some real shit financially. You know that Endless Shrimp almost bankrupted them, right? Or
Trae.
did bankrupt them. It's like, what did you think was gonna happen, dog?
Do you really not
think giving our trash fats access to Endless Shrimp? There was all these horror stories about how people were coming in and sitting there and eating 3 meals a day of just Endless Shrimp. And nobody was making money, and people were just like giving themselves iodine poisoning and stuff. It's like, we fat and dumb. Y'all never should have done that shit. But anyway, every year my dad, on my birthday, every year we drove to Cookeville and ate at Red Lobster for my birthday when I was a kid. And that was in my head. I was like, this is the peak, the pinnacle of fine dining. The Red Lobster in Cookeville, Tennessee. That's what I thought.
I know that you had to explain to our audience what was going on, but I'm sorely offended that your first thought wasn't that I had already put out a 30-minute treatise on the financial troubles of Red Lobster on my Substack, which I have at bonuscorey.com. That one really hurt me because
I'm sorry, I didn't know. I mean, I don't keep up with your Substack. You did. You did it on like IG or whatever too.
I know you don't keep up with my Substack. I'm just saying, like, you should know that I would have done that.
No, no, you're right about that.
Yeah,
I mean, actually, you put out some clips. You put out something on like regular social media.
Oh, you saw that? You saw that? Okay, yeah. Any goddamn way.
I went to like my experience with it as opposed to yours, and that was wrong with me. You're right, but
no, you started the whole thing with Cho. Did you know that Red Lobster? Was
you're right. That's kind of insulting.
That's all I was reacting to.
Yes,
I mean, it says a lot about you that you went to it being my fault. Which is fine, whatever. But yes,
saying a lot about each other, right?
We
now.
are, buddy. We are fucking really exposing each other for who the fuck we are right now. But yeah, I don't know, man. It was just, and by the way, I didn't just buy this for the bit. It really, I shave my head every day now, and it really is just good stuff. And the scent, our scent is like the number one path to our memories, and like it's my granny, and so I like it. So I realize now that like, this is what happens. You go, why does every old man smell like that? It's because they fight their whole life not to. And then one day they see that green thing, they smell it. It reminds them of being a young kid and being with their papaw. And then they just start wearing it. And the cycle is never going to fucking end. It's never going to fucking end.
Yeah. So I think that if you're down for this, Joe, I think people that send in airmail, I think if you guys have submissions for this question, because this is a good question. I like this question.
Yeah.
Things that when you were a kid, you thought, oh, that's fancy as hell. And now that you're an adult, you realize at best, it's not really fancy. And at worst, it's actually trash in its own way. Please send us some other submissions for that. That would be good. Speaking of which, do you have some airmail for us?
Yes. At PuttinOnAirs at gmail.com. I did not have time to vent these.
Is it pudding? Pudding?
Puttin.
Okay.
Did I say pudding?
You said pudding. You said putting on airs. Yes. It's
You know why.
Putting on airs. Just so y'all know.
It wasn't because I was trying to speak good grammar. I was thinking about pudding.
Mm-hmm.
I like this one. Like I said, I haven't vetted these, but I like the subject line here.
If we did a bonus content dessert based thing called Pudding on Airs, that would hit in the future. You know what I mean? Me and you just getting fat on some kind of like British desserts or something.
But here's the problem: you wouldn't do it.
Huh? What do you mean? Why?
Would you do it? Would you do bonus stuff?
It would hit real hard if we could do it like together, physically together.
I'll fly out. I got points.
Or we could at least do an episode of Pudding on Airs. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, let's do it.
Pudding on Airs.
If we get to 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, we will do an episode of Pudding on Airs. So that's an incentive for all of you.
Incentivize these airheads. Do it.
My vegan dog. Hey y'all.
Belt. Okay.
So like most white trash Georgia boys, I've got a pit bull. My pit's name is Persephone, and she is a little angel. She is also
Persephone?
Persephone. That's it. I didn't
That's
know.
the name of we did the statue. Remember the statues? The rape of Persephone?
Oh yeah, the rape of Persephone.
I
Yeah.
don't want his guy's dog to get raped, but if that's the same name, that's from Greek mythology.
Yeah, I'd never seen it. I didn't see it spelled out, so I went phonetically and was completely wrong. She is also allergic to everything. Like this dog wouldn't ever have survived the wild. So she is on a prescription dog food that is vegetarian or vegan. I'm really not sure which. She is thriving for the first time since I've had her. That being said, she has been eyeing the cat very differently lately. All jokes aside, Persephone's.
I mean, that's my assumption.
Yeah, Persephone's case is very different than 99% of dogs, people, and babies. Thanks, Ethan.
Well, my thing with that is like, I could be wrong. I mean, I don't know if Persephone's had enough bad experiences with meat. She may have put it together in her head, but I would think that like even a dog that is actually literally allergic to meat, I still think if you put a big bowl of juicy ass meat in front of that dog, they're still probably going to go in because they don't. I mean, I'm a human and I do that. I definitely have some kind of like, there's things that fuck with my guts more than other things.
Still go.
I pay no attention to them. I still go in.
Not.
So I feel like a dog would too. So, you know.
Completely agree. In regards to Mozart and music, before reading this, I just want to say, if you read this on the show, just call me Bree. It's easier than trying to pronounce my made-up online name I literally Googled Irish words for anyways. That's such an our fan shit thing to do, and I love it. This is my first time actually emailing the host of a podcast I listen to. I usually keep to myself and am generally not outgoing with people I don't have a rapport with. That being said, your second most recent episode on Mozart had me thinking on commonalities between fancy music and redneck music, and being a former music major, more community college liberal arts, quit once it got to the actual music theory stuff kind of music major.
Sure.
And this is just our people right here. Having just gone through a hell flu this week, I thought, fuck it, why not send some slightly fever-addled thoughts? Warning ahead of time, I am on the spectrum, and like, I swear to fucking God, it's like someone is doing a bit where they're like, with every sentence, let's make it more obvious that we're the biggest fans of these motherfuckers ever.
Yeah. I'm assuming a horrific personal tragedy is coming up soon, but I hope not. I hope
assume. Not. Warning ahead of time, I am on the spectrum and my ADD is fucking awful even when I'm not sick, so I'm probably going to have a ton of side remarks and subject changes. But anyways, moving on. I honestly think that would be a great comparison subject to delve into for future episodes, that being fancy people music versus music of the plebs, so to speak. Though perhaps it's less fancy versus pleb than it is old as shit versus modern. But hell, I'll email about it anyways. So I don't think it can be argued that classical music such as Bach, Beethoven, Tchaikovsky. That's how you say Tchaikovsky? Tchaikovsky, okay. And the aforementioned Mozart are seen as pretty complex music and often made for stuffy, rich assholes that sometimes just pretend to like it for the look. Agree with that. But in some ways, that complexity still exists in modern music, especially in the case of progressive metal like Tool and similar acts. Goddamn. A lot of the same snobby and elitist attitudes exist in metal as a whole, as well as, side note, especially in prog metal, and definitely among the Tool fan base. I've been lucky enough to avoid a lot of that in the musical circles I encounter, but I've heard some of the stories and, all caps, Jesus Christ. But anyway, sorry for the tangent. Again, ADD brain. I thought the complexity and the attitudes related to some more modern progressive rock and metal could still be considered comparable to classic to an extent. Just to link it more to the more stereotypically rural/poor side of things, and maybe this is a bit of a stretch, but comparing classical to bluegrass would also be interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
There's 9 more paragraphs, but I think it's fine.
Yes, you're reading a dissertation, and that's fine. We appreciate you, But yeah, I had felt, I tried to look it up while you were in the middle.
I thought we might have done that too, but maybe
I thought that I did an episode about
maybe me and you just talk about it a lot.
Where music was concerned. I could have sworn that I did that. But admittedly, I did just try to Google our own episodes and I couldn't find one. So maybe I'm wrong, but I thought we had done it. But yeah. And listen,
we can always learn more.
I was Googling that while you were still reading the thing. Was Bree talking about the, she said metal and classical. Did she also say metal and bluegrass?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I don't know that, but she didn't make the comparison I've always heard is that like metal was formed by kids of bluegrass parents because it's speedy or whatever.
Right. My dad, and again, my dad had a bunch of these little sayings and stuff like any good Southern dad should. And I'm not saying that he came up with any of them necessarily, but I relate them to my dad. One of them was, I remember him saying repeatedly whenever it would come up, he said, so, bluegrass was the first heavy metal music there ever was.
I think he's right.
Yeah. And, so, checks out. It's kind of like just no drums, right?
If you listen to bluegrass, I guarantee you there's so many bluegrass songs that you put the bluegrass music and you superimpose a video of either Blink-182 or Green Day on screen and it'll sync up. You know what I mean? Because it's just
they shred, bro.
Yeah, they shred. And it's very, and by the way, a lot of early bluegrass was like the working man talking about being fucked over by the government and shit like that, which is punk music, which is metal music. So like, yeah. And again, like the bluegrass, banjo, you have no choice but to shred. You shred. And that translates to.
Right. Another thing, Bree was talking about like metal and Tool and the fans and stuff like that. It's like one thing I've found that like, I love metal so much, and I
love Tool too.
Most of the metalhead, I love Tool too. Love Tool. Most of the metalheads and Tool fans I know are like pretty cool, but like I know they have a bad reputation generally across the board because like they're both metal fans and Tool because they're like metal pretentious or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like they got a real. It's kind of like American liberals. Really, they have a high level purity test for each other, and it's like you like what. You ain't legit. And it's like, that whole thing just bothers me. It's like, dude, just rock, dog.
Almost everything that I'm a fan of has something like that kind of that I always, when I say that I'm a fan of it, I have to go, but I'm not one of them. Wrestling is a huge one. Rick and Morty is perhaps the biggest one. But like, country music and all that. They're gatekeepers, is what it is. They're gatekeepers.
Right. Yes, metal is real bad for gatekeeping.
Gatekeeping. I follow several Reddits about gatekeeping and stuff, and it's like it's huge about everything. You also need to follow our imaginary gatekeeping. By the way, it's a really good. It's really funny. It's really funny because it'll be like a girl puts a Snapchat out and it says like, they say brunettes can't have big tits.
Oh, right. Yes. People gatekeeping something that no one ever
has said
remember
that.
Remember that bit I had, which was based on a real interaction with a lady in California. We were in San Diego, and this lady comes up to me and she goes, listen, I know everyone else thinks Californians, they're tough, but but it's been hard recently. Right. It was like no one thinks or has ever thought that.
No,
like
we're on your side politically.
It's the opposite.
It's the complete opposite. Yeah. Like when dude, when me and you living there and me visiting there all the time, like I have to like explain to my friends I'm not turning into one. You know what I mean? And by like I don't mean like politically progressive. It's like no, I'm not, because like like the fucking stigma is everybody in California.
We should specify, and I used to briefly say this in the bit, but like we're talking about white people for the record. Like there's like
people in Compton are tough as fuck.
Compton and fucking Latinos and stuff out here.
Glenwood,
they do be hard. I don't want to start no beef.
And dude, there's like people
white Californians. No.
Yeah. And also, we're probably also talking about like LA and like Burbank and these places. Like, obviously, dude, there's some tough ranching motherfuckers in, Bakersfield and like places like that. But either way, though, the fucking stigma of California, people don't go, well, it's a big state with varied cultures. And they just go, you're a California pussy. That's what that is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Well, Should we wrap it up?
Yeah, I thought it was fun. I thought we
had
a good time.
Yeah, listen, full disclosure, guys, I kind of alluded to it up top, but we were not worried about this episode. But we were like, are we going to have enough to talk about? Because it did come up kind of last minute. His phone died. My plans was fucked up.
It's Monday.
It's Monday. It's not Wednesday. We had to do this kind of on a moment's notice, basically. And we're like, oh, is it going to hit? And I feel like it did hit. I hope it hit for y'all too. Listen, tonight, I mean, if you're listening to this the day it comes out, I'm in St. Augustine, Florida. Got a couple more dates in Florida the next 2 days. Then I got some Southern California dates coming up, actually, and also Brea, Oxnard, and San Jose, and then a bunch of other places after that. Go to TraeCrowder.com. Come and see me.
Hey, and go to bonuscorey.com. That's for all my bonus stuff. But pertinent to this show, Puttin' on Airs, our sister podcast, Little House of the Dragon, is coming back. I'm pretending that's why I dyed my beard Targaryen blonde. You know what I mean? It's in preparation for that, and Slim Shady dropping his last album. That's why I did this. But Little House of the Dragon Season 2 with me and Lady Kirby will be premiering June 10th, because the first episode of Season 2 is June 9th. So what we're going to do is the first episode will be an instant reaction of the first episode of House of the Dragon Season 2. A lot of you loved that. Some of you are like, I'm not into that show, so fucking I don't care. Well, guess what? Don't watch it. But if you're into it, it'll hit. So be prepared for those things. Bonuscorey.com, TraeCrowder.com, Patreon.com/Trae Crowder. Watch Well Read on Trae's YouTube page, and just be kind to each other, you know, and let's have a fucking monarchy. How about it? Stay fancy. Here's Lydia Lovelace.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Royalty and rednecks are alike. They both like cutting and picking fights. Biscuits and baked beans where they don't belong. Sit on down with Corey and Trae and learn some fancy shit today. We'll laugh a little even when they're wrong. They'll take you to a magical place where if you call someone a cunt, nobody cares. They keep it debonair at Puttin' on Airs. Puttin' on Airs. Puttin' on Airs.